What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Video Creator Podcast. Did you know that YouTube itself can be a marketing tool for almost any business out there? If you can combine a little bit of creativity and information, then you can start to build an audience that looks to you as the expert in the field and is also going to be willing to buy things from you. So today we're going to be talking all about how just regular old businesses can actually leverage the power of YouTube to grow their business or maybe to even start a new brand. So I hope you guys like today's podcast. If you do, make sure to subscribe if you're listening on iTunes or maybe watching on YouTube. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into today's episode. All right, you guys, so we're going to be talking all about just different kinds of businesses, ones that you might not even think could use YouTube to grow their business. And the first one that I'm going to talk about is one industry that you would never kind of guess, and that's the plumbing industry. Because I know of a certain YouTuber, and yeah, I can call him a YouTuber, even though his main job is as a plumber, because he has 440,000 subscribers to his YouTube channel where he teaches you all about plumbing and also just kind of talks about plumbing in general. And the YouTube channel, I'm going to go ahead and share it up. His name is Roger Wakefield, and Grant, don't worry, I'm going to get your input here in a second. But I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quick. Let's see, so that we can view his exact YouTube channel. And as you can see, here it is. Like I said, it's Roger Wakefield, and notice that he's got incredible thumbnails. And so one of the reasons that he was actually able to make it on YouTube is, well, because he knows what he's doing. He's not just some random guy who's like, I think I'm going to start a YouTube channel today. He's a guy that said, many years ago that I'm going to start a YouTube channel, and then went and kind of learned the game, right? His thumbnails have huge faces with emotion. He's using a lot of colors. But it's just an incredible channel where I think he's kind of, taking it to the next level by being able to combine like comedy and just more interesting type of videos than just a standard, like, here's how you unplug a toilet. He's going to say, like, he has some reactions, like expert reacts to insane plumbing videos on TikTok. So he's reacting to these weird plumbing videos on TikTok and stuff like that. So, Grant, I know I just showed you this channel before we got into onto the podcast today. So what are kind of your initial thoughts of this channel?
So initially what I'm seeing is his views per video aren't super high. You're seeing anything from like 1,000 to 15,000-ish, but he releases very frequently. So obviously that's going to work in his favor. This is a viable strategy if each of your videos aren't popping off, but if you're consistently releasing videos, your total views are going to be much higher. And his thumbnails are great. They're really funny. And I watched a couple of his videos as well, and just noticing he uses a couple different camera angles, and that helps keep things interesting. It helps up audience retention. He can just kind of talk to the camera and then cut between angles, and it keeps people more entertained when you're switching angles as opposed to just a single one.
Yeah, that's a huge tip right there. Can you set up a multi-camera setup? Because a talking head video where you're just talking to the cameras, fine. But as soon as you add that multi-camera setup, I feel like you automatically increase just the show quality, which can also lead to improving watch time. When people are watching something has more movements and just looks more professional, they're going to appreciate that. So, okay, in talking about businesses, now this is a really hard one because when I'm thinking of a local plumber, how would a local plumber improve their business through YouTube? I wouldn't exactly think of this strategy that he's using as the first strategy, because he's almost kind of becoming a social media influencer, right? He's not really focused on driving clients to his plumbing business. But I will say that the fact that he is has a following and is looked to as like an expert because of that, he's going to get more people calling his phone just because the local community is going to know, hey, this guy is kind of famous, right? Social media famous. So I'm sure that indirectly or just in that way that people are using him because, he's showing to be the authority by creating content. But for a normal, just run of the mill, say you're a local plumber right now, One strategy that I would use off top, regardless, to try to drive people to my content and just to sign up for my services, is to make videos and target your local city's name. So let's say you live in Paso Robles, California. You can make videos with tutorials and say, how to, I don't know, plumbing, I'm not familiar with plumbing, but how to add a new drain to your lawn in Paso Robles, California, or plumbing advice in Paso Robles, California. And if you really target that search term, then when people go to Google and they have a clogged toilet or they need some help, they're going to search, plumber Paso Robles. If you have a channel that has a lot of content on it and you have that keyword on there a lot, you're going to rank on Google as in a top spot because YouTube is owned by Google. And so YouTube or Google likes to display YouTube results in the top 3, So there's a quick and dirty kind of strategy right there for any local plumber. But as far as what Roger's doing, like I said, he's building an audience and then maybe selling to that audience. Maybe he's promoting some of his services. Maybe he's going to start releasing products, right? So he could say, hey, this is the best plunger on the market, and it's the Roger Wakefield plunger, and everyone should buy it. It's recommended by, it gets 4 to 5 stars by every plumber that's ever reviewed it. Stuff like that could also be a way for him to start like a little bit of a brand through his audience. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about a different industry because I just want to hammer out a bunch of these. The next one we're going to talk about is how could a doctor use YouTube, or more specifically, how could a foot doctor use YouTube to grow his business and his practice, or just grow an audience? So Grant, you mentioned before the call that you were familiar with somebody that is a foot doctor that is trying to do this. So what's the name of that, and what's the strategy there?
The name. Oh God, I probably should have asked him the name before this.
Okay, so no worries about the name, but what's going on with that channel, and what are they looking at doing?
So the idea that makes this channel work, he's a Las Vegas foot doctor, and he does very well on YouTube. And his thumbnails tend to be like a gross picture of a foot that he plays up in Photoshop to make even more gross, and it'll be like removing bunions, and it'll be a super buniony foot or something. And he has like a very silly presence on camera. Like he's obviously a legit doctor and he knows what he's doing, but the thumbnails and the marketing is really where the magic happens. And I also did want to make a point. One thing that is great about using YouTube in general for your business is you don't need a ton of views in order to drive traffic to your business. So even if you get 600 views, if those views, again, if you put the city name in your title, for instance, a lot of those views are going to be local, and 600 people just saw your video. So figure if 10% of them or 5% of them reach out, that's a lot of new clients. And so this is just something to keep in mind in general. And with the foot doctor, yeah, he really plays up the grossness of his industry. I mean, people are always talking about how gross feet are, and there's some people who think they're very not gross. But for the most part, he embraces the grotesque aspect of his job and markets it very well.
Okay, yeah. Is his name? Could it possibly be Dr. Sean Reyes?
I think that is him. Yes.
Let me go ahead and share the channel. You can confirm or deny. It does not matter if it is or not. But I searched, Las Vegas foot doctor, and I found a channel.
That's him. That's the guy.
That fits exactly that. I was gonna say I thought it was this because it fits exactly what you're explaining. So look at these thumbnails, you guys. If you're just listening on and you're not watching this video, then you're seeing a toe with a bunch of fungus all over it. And I'm super impressed by this guy. He's got 37.8 thousand subscribers. 37.8, which might not seem like a lot, but like you were mentioning, in this industry, you don't need that many views or in this niche, that many views or subscribers to really start making a lot of money off it. I'm seeing his videos are getting great views, and he started this channel 1 year ago, so that's a lot of growth in 1 year, in this kind of just starting from scratch niche. But he is very similar to Roger Wakefield, I would say, because Roger Wakefield, the plumber we just looked at, knows how to play the game, right? He knows how to create good thumbnails. He knows that if he just creates how to unplug a toilet, that's not going to do well. Instead, he's reacting to big plumbing mistakes. TikTok videos with big plumbing mistakes. He's reacting to that, and this guy's doing the same thing. He's got like, my secret technique to much less painful injection. Okay, so that's a little bit. Here's one: emergency versus non-emergency toe ulcer with debridement. I don't even know what that means, but these are very clickable things. So, and my question is, how is he monetizing this? Is he just trying to get more clients? Do you have any idea on any of that, Grant?
So he makes a decent amount of money just off YouTube ads. Some of his videos do pop off. They get hundreds of thousands, if not millions of views. That's, I believe, his main monetization source beyond just getting clients from the videos. And yeah, like he's very much focused on his practice. Clearly, he's not spending a ton of time on YouTube. In fact, my buddy, my housemate, makes his thumbnails. So that's actually how we've come to know about this guy. And yeah, his main way of making money is just getting attention and getting clients, and it's working out for him.
Nice. I mean, the guy just started his channel on March 19th of 2020, and he has 5.6 total lifetime views, or 5.6 million total lifetime views, which is really good in a couple years. And he even had a 1 month where he had 821,000 views in 1 month. He almost had a million view month. He's just a foot doctor. He's not creating video game tutorials or these other kind of more viral type niches where you can really see yourself get a viral video. But in the same regard, he does kind of have a little bit of virality with the disgustingness of his videos, almost like Dr. Pimple Popper or pimple popping videos in that regard. So okay, this is really cool. One other thing I would mention is that when you are a plumber or at VidChops, we have a client who builds fences, and he builds fences, creates videos about building the fences, and that's kind of his industry. But another good thing is that because you're creating the content and you're sharing it even on your personal and stuff, is word of mouth, right? That's a great thing for people to talk about. Oh, hey, do you know this one plumber who lives here locally? He's got 440,000 subscribers on YouTube. He does? Yeah, he just makes like weird disgusting plumbing videos and stuff. And that word of mouth right there is gonna bring you clients that you can't track. You can't really track that, right? But all of a sudden you see your YouTube growth, and then all of a sudden your revenue growth. Just, why are we so busy? I don't know where all these people are coming from. Well, they're coming from word of mouth. So that's another huge plus. So, okay, I'm gonna throw one more at you, Grant. You were talking a little bit about maybe like a home renovation type business or something like that. So give us a little background there.
Sure. So let's say you have your own business where you remodel people's homes, no matter what room it is. You're essentially in the construction business. So one way to do well on YouTube is to make videos about construction. So, top 10 ways to renovate your house, how to find the perfect drill, how to install a drywall screw, how to videos that are very general, very basic on these things. And then obviously you want to have bring some personality to the camera so that it's not just all cut and dry. You kind of want to stand out somewhat, try to be as comfortable as possible. And, basically little list videos, top 5, blah, 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 how to, blah, blah, blah. And just anything kind of tangential to construction and home renovation in general.
Yeah, I like that idea too. And I think that, if you do have a business where you're doing home renovations and that kind of stuff for other people, it's like you can kind of like double dip, right? Like you're already going to do the home renovation. You're already getting paid for that. Why not maybe hire a videographer or yourself, vlog it or document it in some sort of way for YouTube content? And that's super interesting because that's like on the job. That's not just like me sitting here and doing a talking head video and telling you about a home renovation. You could literally be on the job doing it and filming some parts to that. So do you know if their play on this whole thing is to get more clients, or or just AdSense, or what's the monetization strategy there?
Yeah, the main monetization strategy is just going to be to drive people to your business. Because again, you don't need a ton of views. You just need enough traction. And as long as you're labeling your videos correctly, if you get 3 clients from a video, that's thousands of dollars that you got through YouTube. And, you'll want to pay someone to edit the videos or edit them yourself, so that is time or money. But again, it's totally worth it if you're going to be getting these big jobs from it. And my advice is kind of like, your business is your bread and butter, of course. So focus the most amount of your effort on just making sure that business is doing well, even without YouTube. And then YouTube is just kind of this supplementary thing that you can use to drum up interest, and that is totally valid. So some clients I have where I'm currently helping them build a YouTube channel, it doesn't exist yet, but I was just on site today actually helping them film stuff, and most of their business just comes from word of mouth. And they're in a neighborhood and they're remodeling a garage as we speak right now. The guys really their clients really liked their work, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna tell other people about you." And like, this is still like the best way to grow your business, but on the side, like, you should get these other sources coming in of attention, so you're not constantly having to like rely on word of mouth or having to walk around the neighborhood and hand out flyers. It's just kind of easier if you can pay someone to edit videos for you, have an expert create a channel for you, things like that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I like how you said it's kind of like extra on the side, because that's how it is. Because YouTube's a long-term play. So if you do want to do this, like the example you just shared, imagine doing this for 4 years, 5 years. At first, like you said, it's on the side. You might get a client trickling in. But eventually, 4 or 5 years, you might be Roger Wakefield, where then at that point, you might say, hey, we're making more money over here with the YouTube stuff than we are with our business. So, or it's just, you're just doing well altogether because the YouTube thing is now as big, if not bigger, than the other business. But it's not going to happen at first. It's just a long-term play. So that was pretty cool to say. So, okay. There's one other thing I wanted to mention, but I'm kind of blanking on it right now. So I'm just going to go ahead and move on. So clothing brand. Let's say you want to launch a clothing brand that, let's just say like streetwear, like almost like a Supreme type brand, where I don't know too much about Supreme and all that kind of stuff. So what kind of YouTube channel, because that's such a broad thing, like that's just like clothes. Okay, clothes. So how could I make a YouTube channel about my brand?
My top idea for this is, don't even think about your clothing brand. Just make funny, interesting, engaging videos and wear the clothes that you want to sell while you're in those videos. So this is essentially what Logan Paul and pretty much any YouTuber with a successful clothing line does, is they wear their own clothes, they make videos that are good in and of themselves, and they'll pitch the brand. You want a catchy brand name, of course, but it's like not central to the videos. They'll like reference it here and there, but like, as a viewer that they're always or often going to be wearing clothes. So like, if you see someone in a shirt that you like, you're going to be like, whoa, I want to buy that shirt, and I know exactly where to get it. You click the link in the description. And so really just focus on making entertaining, good content, and people will want to buy your clothes from there. It's all based off your personality and how you're presenting it. So, yeah, that's my advice, is clothes are secondary.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think with that strategy there, it's good because like clothes is such a broad thing, right? Like it's not like you're selling some super niche thing where like, okay, I need to make sure that I'm targeting Dungeon and Dragon followers, so I need to create Dungeon and Dragon type content to get them. Like everyone wears clothes, so you can get away with not. As far as targeting goes, you gotta think like, okay, well, who's gonna be wearing my clothes? Is this, it's males' clothes only. It's for males. Okay, so the type of content that Grant's talking about, kind of like viral, funny content, it should target males, right? It would be stuff like, off the top of my head, like you mentioned Logan Paul, like that. I think a lot of teenagers and stuff love that, and like Nelk Boys, right? They have their own merch line that they're definitely targeting. The content they create, I think, is more comedy type content for males. So if your clothing brand is to target women, then you might want to start doing like more makeup, lifestyle type videos, and then I don't know. When I think of women, I think they love coffee. I feel like women love their Starbucks, right? So target that kind of viewer by just creating entertaining content, because all women, what do? They wear clothes. All men, what do? They wear clothes. So you don't need to be super specific. Now, my kind of first idea that popped into my head was much different. I love your idea. I probably like your idea a little bit more actually than my idea, but my idea is to do like behind the scenes, right? So you are trying to come up with you're creating a clothing brand. You're a 25-year-old guy who works a 9 to 5 making minimum wage, but your dream is to have the next Supreme type brand out there. So you're going to record your struggles. You're going to record your you getting all these different samples, and it's a video of you going through and choosing the best sample and coming up with the right logo, and going to factories and making those visits and getting your first sale and vlogging all. So anyways, you get the idea, like behind the scenes. I think that kind of content is super interesting to a certain crowd, and you can maybe make sales through that, and pitch your brand and get your people to follow your journey and then buy your shirt and support you by wearing your brand. And just one final thought on this, and kind of with what you said too, Grant, or my way, either way, is what is a brand? Well, a brand like Supreme, right? It's nothing but just a logo that goes onto shirts and other items. But why is Supreme able to charge so much? And that's because it's cool, right? There's a certain cool factor to a brand. Nike. Why do little 14-year-old basketball players want the new Nike shoes? Well, that's because that's what LeBron wears. There's a brand behind it that's cool. So when it comes to owning any kind of brand, clothing brand, I don't know, any other kind of item, by putting a YouTube channel behind it, it makes it more cool. Mm-hmm. Would you agree with that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And with all of this, personality is everything. It almost doesn't matter what you're selling as long as your audience is engaged with you. They're enamored with you. They care about you. They trust you. They feel like they know you on some level. Parasocial relationships, they're never really going to know you. That's okay. I don't think your audience should 100% know you. But the more vulnerable you are, the more open you are, the more people see your face, hear your voice, they begin to trust what you believe in. If you believe in your clothing brand, then people are going to buy it naturally, because they want to be like you. They want to support you. They want to wear what you wear. And, anything you can do to grow your personality that's it. Like, doesn't matter if you're selling coffee or clothes or anything, that's going to be number one.
Yeah, and so many brands are faceless, where you really can't, and that's why Nike pays all that money to LeBron, because that puts a face, right? And with your clothing brand Supreme, like, there's no face. I can't. I mean, maybe they sponsor some rappers and stuff like that that helps build their brand, but you know, it's YouTube allows you to put a face to your brand. So, okay. Let's go ahead and move on to another business idea. And we talked a little bit before this. This is probably going to be the hardest one to come up with some ideas for. And so we've saved the best for last. You're going to see us struggle a little bit here, and that's okay. But in the end, we are going to crack the code here, because maybe someday I might want to open a restaurant. And I might want to use, you know, what I know about YouTube and all the stuff we kind of talked about earlier to grow my business, my restaurant business. Off top of your head, what would that YouTube channel even look like?
So I would do kind of a walkthrough of the restaurant where you're interviewing the employees, you're interviewing the owner, maybe showing some happy customers like, hey, customer, what did you think of your meal today? Oh my, it was so good. I loved it so much. And like, you can edit a whole sort of vlog type video together and create a feeling of the atmosphere of your restaurant and the all the wonderful, beautiful employees you have that people couldn't wait to interact with. You know, like just kind of day in the life content, I guess. Make it feel like you just walk in and this is what you experience. These are who you're going to be talking to. This is what the food looks like. Bam. Make sure you get some very high quality photos that make your meals look very flattering, you know, because ultimately you are selling food, you are selling atmosphere, but dear God, make sure that food looks good. And yeah, that's my first idea.
Okay, I like that. That gave me a couple ideas as you were talking, kind of just ignited some more in my head. I hope I can keep them all from leaking out my ear right now. But one that popped into my head was just cooking tutorials, right? I mean, everything that's on your menu should have a how to make this at home type video. And at first you would think, why would you teach them how to make it at home? Then they can't come in and buy it at your restaurant. They'll make it at home. But it's realistically, if they make it at home, that's good for you, because now they got value, right? Now they're like, oh wow, I'm getting value from this channel. I can make this at home. Maybe they're gonna fall in love with it. There's word of mouth being spread if they share with other people. Oh, where'd you get that recipe? Oh, well, you can get it at this restaurant, and then people are going to your restaurant for that. But I think that would be cool to like know how to make different kinds of foods. And you know, my wife, she learned how to cook some soup from Olive Garden, and she'll make it at home every now and then. And sometimes we'll go to Olive Garden to get it. And it just keeps kind of Olive Garden top of mind, even if she's the one cooking it and the Olive Garden isn't making any money. We are thinking of Olive Garden at that moment. And you know, I get other ideas. So then there's the food review side, right? So maybe you should have customers doing some food reviews, or get a professional to come in and do some food reviews and give you some great recommendations, or just you yourself can do food challenges, eating challenges. Imagine having a customer come in and you say, all right, you eat this whole thing in 15 minutes. It's a huge plate of food, and you get it for free, and you can make a video off that and add a lot of drama. So definitely a food focused channel for a restaurant owner, I think, could be valuable. Any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think people, especially now, I feel like cooking is becoming more popular with all of these big cooking shows, like, yeah, how to make our recipe at home. And you could even, like, if you want to be real sneaky, leave like one ingredient out, so it like almost tastes as good, but then people are like, oh, they make it a little better, I must be doing something wrong, I guess we got to go back in. You know, it's good enough to where they still want to make it at home, but not good enough to where it tastes the same. That's the sneaky thing to do. But I think that's a good idea. And another thing I thought of that would be good for a restaurant, so I'll use a real life example. So there's a restaurant in San Diego called Board and Brew, and they're a you still there, Augie? Oh, there you are. There's a restaurant in San Diego called Board and Brew, and they sell sandwiches, and they have a secret sauce. It's orange and it's delicious. I don't know what's in it. I have no idea what's in it. Nobody does, but their sauce is famous. And if they were to make a YouTube channel, you know, they kind of have a surf vibe in Board and Brew, so they could have a YouTube channel. I don't know, some handsome surfers eating sandwiches on the beach and pouring their sauce on their sandwiches and eating it. And they sell the sauce. They could sell the sauce online. They sell it in the store. They could also sell it online. Figure it. I don't think it needs to be refrigerated. Could be wrong about that. But yeah, if there's any part of your restaurant that you can kind of like make iconic and then package it and then sell it, would highly recommend that. I know food can be difficult to ship long distances, but if you can figure it out, make something that is non-perishable, then you're gonna make some money.
Dude, I love that idea.
That sounds like a great idea. The only thing to keep in mind is if you're going to be filming the everyday workings of the inside of a restaurant, it could be a lot of production value. So, those kitchen shows on Food Network, that takes a lot of editing and man hours and camera crew. You could, of course, do it on a much lower budget. You could have a person or two with some decent cameras and then one person who knows how to edit. You could definitely run a lower budget operation. That is totally doable. Just keep in mind that even if you are able to make really engaging content, making it regularly could potentially be expensive. So
Cool.
it's just a matter of
Okay,
what you're able
let's
to
go
afford.
ahead and dive into one final one because this one's great. This is a great niche to be in, and then creating YouTube content on that could be like throw gasoline on the fire as far as that. And I'm talking about the real estate industry. So how would you do this if you were a real estate agent or just in that industry in general?
So the most important thing is something we've already mentioned a couple times, which is tagging the actual city in the title. So as long as you mention like not just the city but the neighborhood, like get as specific as possible in the title, then that's going to be huge. So I'll bring up the channel I'm talking about. I actually edited a video for her. Her name is Kristen McNeil. And you can see her views. She always gets like a couple hundred to 1,000 views a video. And what she told me is that she gets lots of business off YouTube. She'll have like 10 people message her for a video that gets 500 views, sometimes more. And she closes deals. Let me tell you, she's doing well for herself. So her strategy, you can see she has like, her thumbnails are very to the point. So DFW, this is a region of Texas, Dallas-Fort Worth. And then like I can't scroll over the thumbnail because it'll change. So, but yeah, DFW, New Home Neighborhoods, Ventana. Ventana is another like more specific neighborhood within Dallas-Fort Worth. And then her titles are, New Home Neighborhoods in DFW. So like she talks about how old the homes are in this case. They're very new. They're literally being built right now. So the neighborhood is sort of under construction, but if you're somebody who wants a brand spanking new house, you know immediately from this title that you can get this. So yeah, she has lots of locations in her titles. She has like descriptive words about the homes, in this case, how new they are. When she's selling more vintage homes or historical homes, then she'll use those words. And yeah, it's... and her videos are also very, I can show you, is this? Yeah. So her videos are very like, she talks to the camera. She's got her name here. And then she immediately tells you like, yeah, we're going to be talking about homes in this area. This is kind of the down low of what the area is like. Now let's get into it. She's got the intro. And then, yeah, it shows Ventana. She hired a videographer who's flying a drone over the neighborhood here. And like, there should be, there's some kind of clips of downtown Fort Worth and just anything that you could possibly need to know about the neighborhood and even like the part of the city that it's kind of near. It has it all in these videos, and they're kind of relaxing to watch. Honestly, she's just kind of like talking about neighborhoods and homes. And yeah, it's like this is just a very easy way to get traffic where again, just it's all in the location. She's got her hashtags down here. She also in her description has the price ranges of all the houses, the square footage, and all of the utilities that are included, and some basic descriptions, features, like literally anything that you could possibly need to know is covered here. And she's doing a very good job of utilizing her YouTube channel to the best of her abilities. And
yeah, it's a great looking channel. I think the content is super good. I mean, drone shots, you know, I saw some B-roll of her walking, and you know, there's so many cool things you could do with a channel like this. You know, just talking about you know, going and taking a video of the local downtown area, right? Like, hey, you're going to be living with walking distance from this restaurant here where you can get, you know, the most world famous jalapeno burger. And it just kind of like adds more interest maybe to the properties and to the location. But I really like how professional her videos are, and she's killing it. She's almost to 1,000 subscribers already, and she doesn't have that many videos. I mean, that would look like maybe 20 videos or something. So there definitely is some good growth there. And yeah, maybe she gets a few clients from this. And like I said, anything where you are selling high ticket, and right, real estate's high ticket, right? You know, as a real estate agent, you get a percentage of how much the home costs, and those are huge wins. You don't need to sell a lot of homes per year to make a full-time living and more. So a lot of opportunity with the YouTube channel. And she's doing all the SEO stuff, right, to get these things probably ranked for those town names like you mentioned so much. And the last thing I'll mention about real estate is that the CPMs are super high. So, I mean, at this point, she's not worried about her AdSense and stuff. But, you know, we reviewed that channel a long time ago, Meet Kevin, where he was having like really high CPMs, over $20. And, you know, the kind of the kicker was in the month of December in year 2020 or something like that. I think it was December of 2020. He made $550,000 from his AdSense, and he was a real estate agent who kind of moved into financial advice and stock market and stuff like that. But CPM super high, so bright future for her if she just sticks with it. Like we said, it's a long-term strategy, but who knows? 5 years from now, $550,000 in 1 month from the ads, and she might have to quit being a real estate agent and go YouTube full time. I mean, at that point, that's pretty incredible. So great idea right there, Grant, with the real estate stuff. I hope you guys liked today's video. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up now. If you're listening on Spotify, then please hit subscribe. iTunes, hit subscribe. YouTube, hit subscribe. And just follow us on whatever device or app you're listening to right now or watching, because we release a new video at least once a week. So we're going to keep bringing you these bangers and trying to help you guys monetize your YouTube channel, come up with better video topics, and just see growth and overall, and just enjoy the process without getting burnt out, because we know we've all been there. So thank you again so much for listening, and we will see you guys in the next episode.